Who's hungry for more? Hey everyone, welcome to Princess Gay. I'm your host Connie, and today we are here with episode 6, I believe. Yes, episode 6 of Delicious in Dungeon. So, it's interesting, and this is something I talked about last time, how one thing I want with this series and hope for with this series is that it never really loses touch of the idea of it, the theme of it. Obviously it's going to go in different directions, obviously it's going to get more intense at parts, but I mentioned last time I don't want it to lose the entire cooking aspect, how the aspect of, the delicious in the Delicious in Dungeon needs to remain a core part of every episode. Every episode has to have not only the dungeon crawling fantasy stuff, but at least one recipe in it. At least one cooking moment that is just an integral part of the adventure of the episode. And it's really interesting because since I did last week's episode, I've been thinking about it. It's like, that feels unlike me to say that. And let me explain. So there's been many occasions before where I talk about like how, I want a series to be serialized. I want it to have like this ongoing story that evolves and grows as it goes along to become more than what it started as. And if a series is at least partially episodic or incompletely episodic, I want it to have enough continuity and enough building blocks set in to where even if every episode or mostly every episode is a kind of different part of a different adventure, different thing going on, it still feels like a connected story. You know what I mean? I usually don't like it when a series stagnates. So, for me to come out and say that I want this series to kind of stay the same, to stay where it's at, even if it's just in one aspect of it, is a little wild to think about. It's a very different thing that I usually campaign for. But think about it here. I'm not saying that you can't introduce more intense graphic scenes. I'm not saying that you can't have more, like, emotional, hard-hitting story stuff. I'm not saying that you can't evolve the series. In fact, I think that they should. But I think that every episode should still contain the cooking aspect because it's kind of an integral part of the show, kind of an integral, important, necessary aspect that getting rid of, even just for an episode or two, would feel out of place doing. It would just feel completely stupid, if I'm being honest, to drop that idea. The show is literally called Delicious in Dungeon. It's literally about, finding ways, these adventurers finding ways to feed themselves off of the different monsters and herbs and plants and whatnot they find during this dungeon delve, rather than bringing in this stuff with them for the most part, outside of a few basic things here and there. So, to get rid of that, it would feel entirely out of place. You'd be dropping a core aspect of the series, and those are the kinds of things that you should never drop. It's not like with shows like Hell of a Boss, where it's like, oh, the fact that they go and kill people for contracts and all, that was never a core aspect of the series. That was that was just their job. That's all it ever was. So that being changed in the series, starting to focus more on the characters and the depth of their relationships and whatnot, that was always the core aspect. That was always the intent. So it's a completely different situation here. Oh. But it's just interesting to me. And we're continuing to travel further and further down. And it's just a matter of time till we get to this dragon. That's kind of what we're going towards at the moment. And they've got a lead as to where the dragon is. They've got a lead. They got kind of this idea. And it seems like it's closer than they thought. So we're going to be getting to that, it seems. It's just a matter of exactly when. And I believe I said it last time. I believe I already said that I know that Phelan, or Fallon, however you pronounce it, comes into play in the series, and that she is going to be a character moving forward. Again, I just don't know exactly when that occurs. So I know they're going to save her like before the series ends. I just don't know when it's going to happen. I'm wondering if it's going to be like halfway through or something. I think, is the series still going, or did it just recently end or something? I don't know. I think it's still going. I think it's still going. Oh, excuse me. Sorry about that. But yeah, it's like there's a lot I'm curious about to see how it's going to go. There's also the fact that that there's still the creature sword that warns Leos of danger, and just other stuff being set up. So yeah, I guess in the end, I'm excited still to see where this goes, and I have a lot of hope for it. I'm just really, really still interested. Really still enjoying this. And we'll just kind of continue to tackle it as we go. So, yeah. Not really much else to say, except that there are a lot of great reactions on this channel. Every day, Monday through Friday, we have a plethora of awesome series reactions you can check out. And on Mondays, we even do YouTube content, or YouTube adjacent content. Sometimes it's not specifically only stuff from YouTube, but, you know, things happen, and it's adjacent, and it's pretty much always donation rewards either way. Every Saturday and Sunday, we do movie reactions. Those are recorded during the week, but I put them up on the weekends so that every day has something going on. And the donation rewards for the YouTube and the movies are mostly what you're going to see. And those are all sent in by viewers and subscribers like yourself. We are also currently doing a Let's Play of Spider-Man 2 on the PS5. It used to only be Tuesdays and Thursdays, but we have upgraded it to Sundays, Tuesdays, and Thursdays. So 3 times a week you'll be seeing uploads of Spider-Man 2. The first 9 parts are going to have some audio issues going along to them, but that does end up getting fixed by episode 10, so it shouldn't be a problem, hopefully, moving forward. But yeah, a lot of great stuff on the channel, a lot of great things to check out. Hope you find something that you can enjoy. For now, though, yeah, I'm excited to get into this, so let us do so. When the screen fades to black, pause this redirect and go to the description below. Follow the link to the reaction, because yes, everything that we do react to on the channel is redirected. And it might sound weird, it might be like, oh, I want to watch this on the channel, I don't want to have to go to another site. But, when you think about it, it's actually a plus for a number of reasons. We do it because of YouTube's copyright system. You know YouTube. It's crap with copyright. So we redirect it just to avoid any possible strikes or even the channel getting terminated. Don't want to deal with that. I've dealt with it before. It sucks. But like I said, it's a positive when you think about it, because by redirecting it, all of you, and yes, I mean all of you, get to see the reactions for free. The full reactions for free. No paywall, no Patreon. You don't even have to sync up your own copy. You get to see the entire reaction completely for free just by clicking an extra link. Just by going down to the description, clicking an extra link, you get to be redirected, watch the entire reaction completely free. I think that's pretty neat, honestly. So, all of that being said, though, once you watch the reaction, you can come back here to the redirect and resume play. Because after fades to black and then fades back in, everything from that point forward will be not only my afterthoughts that will contain spoilers to the episode, but will also just be my general thoughts on what I'm thinking after having watched it. There might also be some thoughts on other things and mentions of other things going on the channel, so always stay tuned. But, like I said, all of that being said, thank you as always so much for tuning in, and I will see you at the reaction. And we are back, and we'll begin with spoilers in 3, 2, 1, now. So a couple things. First off, is it just me, or did this seem like it went by really quickly? Like, comparative to other episodes and stuff, even. Usually I would say, like, oh, that's because I'm really enjoying it, I'm having fun, and I am. But I wouldn't necessarily call this my favorite episode or anything. I wouldn't, like, put it on that high of a pedestal, comparative to others. I just wonder why this one specifically seemed to go by quicker. I don't know. But another thing, the second thing I want to bring up is that another thing I've noticed with this series, that it doesn't seem to always be the case. I mean, mind you, we're only 6 episodes in, but still. Doesn't seem to always be the case, but sometimes it seems like there's multiple parts to an episode. Like, oh, for example, the first half of this episode focuses on Laios. And he's going into these paintings, which are telling an ongoing story. And we get to see him experience this ongoing story of this kingdom that might be, you know, based around the castle that they are currently in, that became the dungeon. But there's this kingdom where this prince was born. He ended up inheriting the kingdom from his father, who grew ill and died. At first I thought it was like a poisoning thing at the dinner, but I guess not. Or at the party, the lunch, whatever. But I guess not. Instead it was just the old man, you know, being an old man and getting really sick and everything. And then we see, of course, the coronation of the prince becoming the king because his father passed. And we get to see this ongoing narrative, and it's really interesting, like really fascinating. And then you see this elf character who has been in all parts of it, all 3 parts of it. He finally notices Laios and confronts him, and tries to attack him because he thinks he's, you know, an assassin or something sent after the new king. But Laios is pulled out, and then that plot is completely abandoned. It then pivots over to Chilchuk and his history with mimics and having to navigate, you know, finding and dealing with a mimic in this booby-trapped room. And this is something that I've, again, some of these episodes have done this, where it's like, oh, it has multiple parts, multiple portions that focus on different things. This is a very notable example of this, and the weird thing is, I'm very mixed on, at least for this episode, how it's done. Because the thing is, I was so fascinated by the first half of this and the lore that we were getting. It seemed like it was going to be like this important bit of lore about the dungeon that they're in. about everything surrounding them. Because remember, these living paintings were found in a dining hall and everything. So I'm watching this. I'm thinking, like, what is this lore going to be about, and who is this elf? He seems important. Leos was using he/him pronouns, so I'm going to use he/him pronouns. He seems very important. Also, I really liked his design, and I thought he was super cute. Just adding that in. But it seemed like he was going to be super important, and then it just abandons it. And I'm just like, no, I want to learn more about that. And don't get me wrong, this stuff with Chilchuck and his history with mimics and everything, you know, because stemming from what he does and all, I liked it, and it made sense, and it was good, and seeing him, like, he kind of resignedly say it like, oh, this tastes great. It's like, yeah, I enjoyed that, but at the same time, it's like, I just wanted to see more of... I wanted to see more of everything else going on with the lore here. Even if we didn't go into another painting, because, you know, Leos was attacked, he realized the food wasn't actually filling him up anyway. I just felt like there was a lot more there that could be delved into. And if the kingdom and the castle in the paintings were indeed the same one that they're in now, if it hasn't been, like, too long, the possibility exists that that elf could still be alive, right? I very much want to know more. It feels like there's so much more to this. And we've only gotten a very, very brief glimpse at something important here. And it's just really, really disappointing that it pivots to such a completely different plot point in the second half here. Like, I understand that kind of the entire point here was that they needed food, so it had to pivot to something else. Like, it all follows the same thread, but there's two separate plots in this thread of this episode. I understand they needed to find food, but they could have still... Like, maybe that room could have had something in it related to this. And you could say, okay, maybe that ancient script that he saw and couldn't really read, maybe that had something to do with it. But it's like, there's no real evidence to support that. Who was this elf, and what was his deal? What was going on? I want to know more. I'm vastly more interested in that than how old Chilchuck is. And honestly, I'm more interested in that than his entire dealings with the mimics and all. Again, even though I did like that, it's less interesting to me than possible lore of this entire place. And this kind of goes with what I was talking about in the pre-thoughts, with the entire fact that this is usually the kind of stuff that I really look forward to in shows, rather than the entire episodic nature of certain things. So it's surprising that I want this to remain at least partially stagnant in regards to the cooking thing. But like I said, I still want it to take other paths and go into stuff like lore and more intense scenes and big character moments and stuff. Just keep at least one recipe, one cooking thing in each episode. That's all I ask. And so it's like, I don't know. Maybe it's just a me thing. But yeah, the first half of this was so vastly more interesting. But, I mean, I guess there's nothing I can really do about that. Like I said, I did still like the second half, though. It was just a lot more straightforward and just less interesting, though. I do still question. Maybe I don't know enough about D&D and other media and stuff. Are mimics usually portrayed as, like, crustaceans like this? Like, I don't think I've ever known what a mimic actually looked like. I know what, like, that they usually take the form of like stuff like treasure chests and whatnot, though they can obviously take many different forms. But I always viewed them as like just these shape-shifting, kind of formless creatures otherwise. Not really something like this. So it's interesting to see that it has an actual like crustacean-like form, at least in this lore. Maybe it does in other lore too, though. I genuinely don't know. Maybe you could let me know in the comments if you do. But that all being said, there is a lot of other great content on this channel to check out. Every Monday through Friday, we have a plethora of awesome series reactions. And on Mondays, we also do YouTube, or at least YouTube adjacent shows as well. We do movie reactions every Saturday and Sunday, and both the YouTube stuff and the movie stuff are donation rewards from viewers and subscribers like you. I record the movies during the week, upload them during the weekends, just so every day has something going on. We are also currently doing a Let's Play of Spider-Man 2 on the PS5. It used to only be every Tuesday and Thursday, but we have now moved it to every Sunday, Tuesday, and Thursday. 3 days instead of just 2. So, yeah, a lot more Spider-Man greatness. Just keep in mind that the first 9 parts of that will have some audio issues. But after that, we should be free sailing, at least for the most part. So, once again, thank you so much, as always, for tuning in. Let me know your thoughts down below. No spoilers, as usual. And for now, I'm Connie, and I'm signing off. See y'all next time.